Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf and my new series, Gaming on Sunday Morning, which is where I'm going to be checking out a new game every single week for you guys on Sunday morning, and I encourage you guys to play the game with me. This week we're going to be checking out Albion Online, and this is a kind of a little bit of a big deal because it's our first non-free game. Now real quick before we jump into this, I wanted to keep this series as a free-to-play series. The first 3 games we played were for free. We just checked out Elder Scrolls Legends last week, which I think that was a really good game. It's actually going to be my Hearthstone replacement. But anyway, today we're checking out Albion Online, which is not free, and it's actually an open beta. Now the reason why I'm checking this game out is for 2 reasons. The first reason is I just spent a week in Las Vegas, as you guys probably know from my social media accounts. But I didn't have time to check out a brand new free game, and I've been putting a lot of time into Albion Online because I personally like it. And the second reason is I do want to branch out and play other games, and I was a little bit too restricted by playing only free-to-play games. So we're going to roll with this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And also while you're down there, you know you have to let me know what you're sipping on. Today I have some, I think it's a dark roast Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I got it in my Steelers mug here. So yeah, make sure you guys let me know what you're sipping on. So let's jump into Albion Online. Like I said, it's not free to play. It's in open beta. In order to jump into the game, you need to purchase a Founders Pack. Now there's 3 different tiers, I believe, right now of the Founders Packs. And the first one is only $30. And I highly recommend, if you do want to check this game out, you buy the $30 pack first. I'm going to jump in here while I'm talking. That's because I recommend the $30 pack because you can always upgrade from the 30 to the 70 or the 30 to 100 and whatnot, and just try the game out for 30 bucks. It's not that big of a deal. The $30 will give you immediate open beta access, plus it'll give you the full game once the game launches on July 17th. Now, if you know anything about Albion Online, this game has actually been delayed a couple times now. It was supposed to come out early this year, I believe, but now it's July 17th, and with a new update that I'm going to talk about, this game is pretty much ready to be released. There's a few things that need change, but it's looking really good so far, and I've been following this game for probably a year now, so I know a lot about the game, and I'm really excited for this to go free. So what is Albion Online? Have you ever heard of RuneScape? This is pretty much it's a good comparison. You can see that it's all click to move here. Like, I'm gonna get out of this city because there's so many people here. But it's that click to move, top down view. It's all about grinding. This game is a serious grind fest, just like RuneScape. The thing I like about this though is it's not so much idle grinding where you just sit and mine rocks. You actually have to go out and find stuff. So yeah, I would compare that to RuneScape. It's definitely more updated. I like the spells better and stuff like that, but we're going to dive into that. But I would compare it as a starting point to RuneScape. So the first thing that you need to see in this thing is the skill tree. And that's this big guy right here. Check out, these are all the skills. You work your way around this wheel here, and I mean, this is just insane. You can see here that the yellow ones are the ones that I've already earned so far. And these are professions like crafting and gathering. These are combat, and that's pretty much it actually. Gathering, combat, and crafting. So you work your way through all these ranks so you can progress through the different tiers. I think it goes up to like tier 8 right now for pretty much everything. Right now I'm basically at like tier 4, getting into tier 5 for just the things I'm working on. And the big thing about Albion Online is it really, really encourages you to be a master of one and not a jack of all trades. Because, I mean, to work through that entire skill wheel would take forever, and I don't think anyone would actually ever do it. It's not like getting a 100 in RuneScape, which, not to knock it, but I'm pretty sure this would take longer, which is pretty crazy. So I'm just going to chop down these trees here while I talk. But yeah, this game really encourages playing as a guild because you don't have enough time to level up all your skills. So what you want to do as a guild is one person's one, like for example, one person gathers the cloth, one person crafts the cloth, and then you have another person for fighting with the cloth because battling this game is the same grind that of anything else. It's not like anyone can go out there and just start whacking away on tier 5 monsters. You really need to invest in one thing. Now, I kind of deviate from that a little bit because I'm not going to hop on this game and just gather cloth for other people. That I pay money for this game and I want to enjoy it. I do like participating for my guild, but my big thing is I want to be self-sufficient. So like for example, I'm focusing on mining. I know I'm busting up trees right here, but I focus on mining and then plate gear and then fighting with plate gear. So that means I can basically craft everything that I wear and then I can go attack stuff. Now this will take a little bit longer. If I had time if I just devoted all my time to attacking monsters, I'd be farther in the game as far as that goes, but then I have to pay somebody to make my gear. So I'm a little bit more self-efficient, a little bit of a master of or a jack of all trades, but not as much as I would normally be in a game. I'm really focused on just those 3 things. So let's get into the combat after we saw this skill tree here. It's going to be kind of hard for me to find a monster, but as you can see here on the bottom, whenever I'm dismounted, you have 3 spells that come from your weapon, and the other 3 spells are from your gear. Now this game is a prime example, super prime example of you are what you wear. There's no classes in this game or anything like that. You purely get your skills based off of what you're wearing. Now this is a good thing because if you change your mind later down in the game, you don't want to keep like spamming fireballs as a mage. You can just equip an axe and you're good to go to start slaying monsters like I am here. Now the bad thing about that is, like I said, you have to invest time into this game. It's a huge grind fest, and if you spent like 2 months grinding as a mage and you start wanting to like use an axe, for example, you're gonna have to start at that lower tier and work your way all the way back up. Now some people like that, some people don't. But I'm a big fan of it. I really like the versatility and what all you can do. I mean, I guess I'll just kill this critter right here. Let me find a monster. But yeah, so the skills are based off of your gear. And then different pieces of gear also have... There's a guy. We'll fight him. So the combat's pretty simple. I actually can't use my attacks until like a couple seconds after I dismount. But then all I'm doing is spamming these 3. It's not too complex, but in PvP, you definitely have to make the correct choices with which spells you're going to use. In PvE, you're kind of just spamming. It does have the standard like interrupt, crowd control, healing yourself, stuff like that. Like it's not just basic auto attacks, but I really like the combat system. It's simple enough for me to just hop in and kind of not pay attention to it. But at the same time, if I want a PvP, I gotta focus 100% on my skills. So I think I think the combat is a perfect balance, and it's exactly what I look for in a game, because I personally don't like hundreds of spells. I'm not into that, like World of Warcraft and macros and all that kind of stuff. So I really like that. The next thing I want to talk about after you fight is where do you fight in this game, and there's both PvP and PvE. The first thing in PvE I want to go over is the dungeons. Now, this is just the first map right outside of the town. And here you can see these green dungeons here. Now, these are open world dungeons. They're not instanced, which is really cool, by the way. But they're not instanced, which means I could go there right now and the whole dungeon could be clear from other people that just attacked it. So you really want to try and pick and choose where you're going to go. And there's no bosses at the end of these PvE dungeons. It's kind of just like grinding, which is the theme here. But what they recently added for PvE, which I'm going to show you as soon as I get back to town, is expeditions, which they just added in the new Galahad update. And expeditions are awesome. Basically what they let you do are instanced dungeons for both group and solo play. But you spawn or you start them from any main city. And what's really cool is there's both solo and group, which I just said. And the solo dungeons are great if you only have like 20 minutes to jump in and you want to get some PvE content instead of having to go out in the open world and try and find where to go and stuff like that. So I'm actually a huge fan of expeditions. I'm going to show you what it looks like without wasting too much time. So here I'm in the open city. I'm just going to go to a tier 3 solo expedition. You get some various rewards for completing it the first time of every day, so it's kind of like a daily and stuff like that. But here is what it looks like. Now I'm actually in my miners. I'm in like some gathering equipment, so I'm not going to do well here, and I'm not going to go too far for this review's sake. But yeah, this is what it looks like. This is the map. I'm going to work my way through here. And then there are bosses. There's going to be a boss like halfway. Sometimes, I think that's actually a rare boss. And then there's going to be a boss at the very end. And he actually gives better rewards. But the thing about Albion is gear very, very, rarely drops in this game. Everything is a player-run economy. So you can craft every piece of gear in this game, which I personally love. You don't really spend any silver in like to NPCs or whatnot. It's all player driven, which is really fun. It's kind of like a community. You don't want to jack up prices because then no one on the server is going to progress. Speaking of servers, it's one massive server, which is really cool. So after, yeah, that was the expeditions. So after that, I want to talk about PvP real quick, which PvP is actually the main focus of this game, I would say. But I'm not really into it yet because of how hardcore it is. Now, up here in the, let's go to the world map here. Let me pop that up. Now this is what the map looks like. It's huge, okay? This is the Royal Continent, and then up here is the black zones. Now each zone is a different type of zone, I would say. Here you can see like this is a yellow zone. Now in yellow zone, as far as PvP goes, you have to flag yourself to attack other players, and when you do, you make yourself hostile, and then everyone in the zone can see that there's a hostile player there. So you really don't want to PvP in the yellow zones. You can, and if you kill somebody, you don't even get their gear, so it's kind of a waste at this current state of the game. I'm not sure if they're going to change that or not. But in red and black zones, so this continent up here is like all black zone, so that's just free open world PvP. If you kill somebody, you can loot everything they have on them, and that includes their mount, which is crazy. You can lose a lot of money up there. I think it's kind of like the wilderness in RuneScape. I haven't played that game in like literally a decade, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's like. And the same thing in red zones. Like, this is the more safe continent, but there are red zones here the higher tiers you go up, and you can't farm higher tier resources without going into these red and black zones. So this game honestly gets to the point where you need a guild, because you're not going to want to farm these resources by yourself, because there's going to be too much PvP going on, and you could lose all your stuff. And if you lose all your stuff on a gathering one, then you might have just potentially wasted like an hour of your time, which is crazy to me. So I haven't been in there too much. Now another form of PvP is guild versus guild. Now I don't know if you can tell here, but all of these maps have territories. Like here's like a big fortress that somebody owns, like the MV, oh that's MV right there. MV Red Army owns that zone, and they can attack other people's owned zones like this. Well, that's actually a dungeon. But they can actually attack like this, even though that's theirs. These guys, they can attack this watchtower from Obscure, and you want to control all these zones because it's really beneficial to have your own zone. That way farming is easier, you're safer. So they're in these higher tier zones, and they own them, so it's a little bit safer for them. And there's these GVG fights as well, which is where you put your 5 best like guild fighters against another guild's 5 best fighters, and that's where, like I said, you really want to only invest time into one thing, and those guys would be the combat guys. So you have the gatherers gathering all the resources for the guild, the crafters crafting all the gear for the whole guild, but more importantly for the 5 fighters in your guild. Now you can have multiple groups to make it 5, 10, 15 people, but it's only ever 5v5. And that can get really intense. I highly encourage you to check out some YouTube videos on that. I'm not going to jump into it right now, but I mean, that is just absolutely insane. So yeah, that's PvP and PvE in a nutshell. This game actually didn't have much PvE just a couple months ago, and especially with those expeditions, it does have matchmaking in there too, so you can queue up as a tank, a healer, or a DPS, which is needed. It's not just all DPS like in Guild Wars 2 or anything like that. So the expeditions are awesome. There's a lot of PvE content in this game now, and I'm personally satisfied with it. I'm not bored as a mostly PvE player at this point. So I really like it. Next thing up is currency. I gotta move quickly here. It's already been 15 minutes. Next thing is currency. The main in-game currency is silver here. There's also gold, which you can purchase for real money, and then you can use the gold to buy silver. So yes, that does mean you can buy unlimited amounts of silver if you have unlimited cash on you. But the cool thing is, before you think it's pay to win, is whenever you're progressing your skills here, back at the skill tree, let's look at, I'm going to look at here my weapon. Okay, we'll go to axe. Now this is how you progress through here. Now, I could have unlimited amount of silver in this game, and I could buy a tier 8 axe right now if I wanted to, but there is no getting past grinding for your skills. You grind what's called fame, which is like experience points pretty much, and you can use learning points to expedite that process. Like right here, it just costs 1 and I have 452 learning points. You get learning points from being a premium member, but this red bar here is the minimum amount of fame you have to have before you can use learning points. So there is no getting around. It can't be pay to win because there's no getting around grinding on that fame. And this goes for everything. This goes for the fame you need to use crafting tools, the fame you need to craft gear, to use gear, to the fame you need to even enter a higher tier dungeon. So I love how this game is. It didn't used to be like that. Just the previous update, you could use your learning points and just instantly get to tier 8 if you saved up enough learning points. So I really like how they set the minimum there. And the minimum is, it's a third of the way, which is still crazy long. So it's going to take a long time to progress in this game, which I'm a huge fan of. Next up, I want to talk about what systems this works on. This is another game that I didn't benchmark because, as you can see from these graphics, they're pretty low. And right now it's compatible on Windows, Linux, Mac, and Android. Now, it will be compatible, Android tablets, by the way. If you download, it does sometimes work, I guess, on Android smartphones, but they really recommend only using an Android tablet. It is coming to iOS as soon as the game officially releases. Something about the Apple Store, you can't have a beta game on there or something like that. So it is coming to iOS, I guess, on July 17th, hopefully. And like I said, the system requirements are super low. I have it over here. It was a super old CPU that they put as the minimum, and with 2 gigabytes of RAM. So pretty much anyone, especially anyone on my channel, will be able to run it. So don't worry about that. I did want to talk real quick about this Steam link. I'm going to jump. Oh, I guess I can't jump into the expedition here. But I had a lot of fun on this Steam link because I actually set up like a custom controller profile, and I had a lot of fun just I wouldn't recommend it really for PvP too much unless if you have a wireless keyboard and mouse. But with the Steam controller, I was actually able to just like set up gathering runs and stuff like that. And I was just chilling on my couch, like grinding away on mining materials and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun. This is a really fun, casual but hardcore game at the same time. Going back to the mobile phones, I really wouldn't recommend PvP. The same thing goes. I mean, you're going to be playing against people with keyboard and mouse, so you probably don't want to be tapping the buttons on there. But you absolutely can if you want to. You can definitely do PvE, I would say. And so that's pretty much it for Albion Online. I'm having a ton of fun with this game. I'm going to be playing this game for months to come, especially once the game releases. There will be a final wipe before the game releases, which means you'll lose everything except the gold you purchase. So I would look at it as a season. This is what a lot of us that are playing the game is looking at. This is my second season or second beta now, so I know what I want to do at the start of the real game, and trust me, that's very valuable because this is a sandbox game and it doesn't tell you how to do anything. So you really want to know what you're doing before you start the game. So I'd highly recommend just picking it up for 30 bucks if that's what you're interested in. I won't waste my money on the bigger packs yet because you can always upgrade. I will have a referral link in the description box, which I encourage you to use. That would really help me out a ton. And also, while I'm just plugging away things that can make me money, check out my gaming chair sponsor OPC. I uploaded an entire video on this seat, and I'm actually using the lumbar support for the first time, like in the last couple days, and that's why my posture is a little bit better. But it's the best gaming chair hands down that I've ever sat in, and it's at a great price. So make sure you check out my full review of that first before you think about buying it, just so you know what you're getting. And to recap Albion, the newest update, Galahad added a ton of content. It really balanced out the game. There are a couple more tweaks that they need to make, but I'm pretty confident that this game will be ready for release on July 17th, and I'm super excited for it. If you guys are playing this game, make sure you let me know. I'm in an awesome guild and I can invite you guys, and it'd be really fun to play this game with some subscribers. And one more thing is, I really like this game because, like I said, it's casual and hardcore. I can open up a podcast or watch some Netflix or some YouTube while I play this game, and that's one of my favorite features about it. But not during PvP though. You need to focus 100% on PvP. So that's going to wrap up this video. As always, make sure you guys check out my full written review for this on the Gaming on a Sunday Morning website, which is the first link down in the description. Thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you guys have a great week. How does my ending go? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like down below to help support my channel. And as always, thank you for watching. And please subscribe for more Zach's Tech Turf videos.